Hello, amazing people of the world. It's me, Caroline from Life Insight, and today we are going to be talking about credit scores, what they are, how they're determined, and how to maintain them. So I know you're super excited to get started, so let's get into it.
So first of all, what even is a credit score?
Alright, so a credit score is a number linked to you that tells banks and lenders how financially responsible you've been with loan payments in the past, and all of that goes into their determination of whether they decide to give you a loan.
Well, how do I get started? I want to be able to buy a house when I'm older.
Alright, so when you're 18, you start off with a credit score of 0, and most people choose to either get a small credit card with about a maximum of $500 or to co-sign a loan with their parents to help them get started. And either way, their name is tied to this loan or credit card, and how they handle those debt payments reflects in what their credit score is off the bat.
So how is my credit score determined?
Alright, so all of your payment history and information goes to 3 places, the 3 credit agencies. And these agencies are Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. So when you take out a loan, for example, a car loan, a student debt loan, or a mortgage, the business or company giving you the loan will report how well you've been doing with your payments to these 3 agencies where they store all of that information. If someone is giving you a loan, they will look at all of the information the credit agencies have on you, basically just to see if you have a history of paying your bills on time. So TLDR, credit agencies or bureaus are just giant record-keeping systems. And all 3 of these agencies also play a factor in putting together your credit score, and they all have a way of doing it that is pretty different. But on average, I would say the lowest score is probably a 350, and that's like the very lowest score you can have if you're doing a terrible job paying your bills on time and not managing your money responsibly. And probably about the highest you can have is a score of 900. So starting out, you really wouldn't go from a score of 0 to a 350. If you were 18 and you took out a small credit card and you always paid the loans on time, then you would probably jump to a score somewhere around the 600s, but a score of 350 is reserved for those who have already established a previous credit score, but have done just a really bad job of maintaining it and not paying their bills on time, so they would go down to a 350. So say you took out a credit card and you just didn't pay on time like ever, or you just stopped paying altogether, then your credit score would just tank and you would establish bad credit. Also, one action doesn't necessarily equate to dropping or raising your score by a specific number of points. A variety of things go into raising and lowering your credit score. Say, for example, you had a lot of loans out and you had a history of consistently paying them back on time, and you just were late on one for some reason. So that wouldn't hurt your credit score as much as, say, if you only had 2 loans and you just never paid them, or you were always late, or you just stopped paying altogether. That would hurt your score a lot more.
What if my credit score starts to tank? Can I raise it again?
So all drops are recoverable if you start to turn it around and pay your bills on time again. And also, any old debts won't stay on your record for more than 7 years after you've completely paid them off. So for example, say you had a car loan and you just didn't pay it on time very well, and you just had a bad history with it. After you've completely paid that off, after 7 years, it will just drop off of your credit history forever. If you have a credit card that you've had for 10 years and you've always paid it, it will stay on your report for as long as the card's open, but old debts will just drop off after 7 years.
That's great. So only the bad things drop?
Unfortunately, no. If it's an old debt that you've always paid on time, it will still drop off your history after 7 years.
Okay, so now I know all of that. How can I raise my credit score?
Alright, so a couple factors that would go into having a high credit score would be making your payments on time. If you had a loan or a credit card that you didn't pay off, or you paid off late, your credit score would start to decline. Another factor is the number of accounts you have open with balances on them. You want to have a couple to show you're responsible and you can maintain them, but just not too many. For example, you wouldn't want to have 10 different credit cards and 5 different loans, but you maybe want to have 3 different credit cards that you just use just in case, and student debts, a car loan, or a mortgage. If you can manage all of these accounts responsibly, it will reflect in your credit score. Alright, that pretty much covers the basics of credit scores, so I'm going to sign off for now. Goodbye, see you later, over and out, and remember, Life Insight helps you do life right.